Hey guys, welcome back to my another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can build the chat room applications using the Node and Socket. And I'm using a pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build this layout. And this is how it looks like at the end. So here, what we have is we log in here as a Rocky1. If I click on login, and we will see here the name. So here we can put our name and we can save it and we can send the message. And once we save a message here and we will give a message in another screen here. The things is why I run this incognito mode here. The reason is I store the name on my local storage. So if I go and my inspect here on my local storage in my application, the name is stored as a test. So if I log in, then we will see from the local storage. So if I send something like this and if I do it, then we will see it here. If we use the same here, then we could also able to see a real-time message, but we need to use the same name because I'm using the as a local storage from the name in the local storage. So that's what it's trying to grab. So the thing is what we're gonna do here is to build a real-time applications here, actually real-time applications or the chart applications. So let's get started building this application, guys. So the first thing what we're gonna do is I have already opened my VS Code editor here, and I have a file called index.html and style.js, and it's both empty. So this is going to be created from all the way from scratch. All right. So the first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the HTML template, and later on we're gonna put our HTML template in our Node applications. Okay. So let's get started, guys. So now let me create here a HTML file using the HTML5 here extension. And here, this is basically going to be our chart room. So I'll just create it as a chart room. And here, now what we're going to do is we're going to create the div here. The first thing what we're going to do here is a chart wrapper. Chart wrapper. So this is going to be a wrapping all the way around. And inside the all the way around chart wrapper, now we need to create as a chart. Let me do as a container first, guys. The container is basically surrounding all everywhere. So we're going to put as a in here we're going to put as a container covering whole page, and we're going to create as a background color as kind of like gray. So for that one we need to do this, and for chart wrapper is going to be the middle one. We're going to put this in the middle one here in a box, like a square box, something like that. Not square, kind of like a rectangle box here. And we're going to put some border box size, sorry, border shadow, stuff like that, so it looks a little better, right? And inside now wrapper, now we need to create as a UL, and in a UL what we have is we're going to create as a chart list. All right, so let me create a chart list here, and inside the UL we will have a li as well, and in li we will create as a chart list item, and in li we will have a name and a message, because in a chart we will see as a name and message, right, pop off. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create as a name and message as a span. So we're gonna chart item, and we're gonna create as the oh here chart I create chart list item, chart list item. Okay, here a chart list item, and this is going to be name, and the name is going to be maybe a Sam, right? The Sam is the guy who is sending it a message, and another is the guy who received the message. This is a message, and here I change name as a message. So once I save it, now it looks like this, and this is running on a port here in 55. How I run on port 5500 is basically you just need to install a live server, and you just need to right click and open with live server. When you click open with live server, then it's going to open in port 5500 like this. So I'll just paste it here, so now this will show it here. So our changes will be shown here. So now what we have is we have up to here, right? So now and UL, basically now here what we see, what we need is we need the action. So action is basically nothing. We need our input type as a text, all right? Text. We need the input type as a text, and this is going to be message. And we will have a button here, and button is basically a send, and we will have another button here called login, right? So this is how it looks like, send and login. We didn't put any CSS, that's why it doesn't look good. Oh, we forgot one thing. We need a header as well. So where we want a header is basically, okay, we want a here. So we need a header here called public chart room. I believe that's it. So now let me go to the quickly on a CSS and let me create a CSS here called style.css. Style.css, which is already here. So here what we're gonna do is on asterisk, I'm gonna do here the padding is equal to 0. So we don't want any padding and margin which is provided by the HTML guy. So we just tell that okay, we don't want it. Oh, HTML or DOM. So I'll just say that we don't want it. So that's why it looks like this. So now the first thing what we're going to do on the body is basically we need a font little better. So I'm going to use this open, or let me use this. Okay, this guy has a both open sun and poppin. So I'm going to add it here, open sun or poppin. So let me use these poppins. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, this looks like up to like this. Maybe I picked a different one, the poppin one. Let me use this. Okay, here it is. Okay, this is how it looks like. Now let's write some CSS here. The first thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this container to cover whole screen because this guy doesn't know to cover the whole screen. So we will tell that okay, container, you need to cover the whole screen. So we'll just say that height is equal to uh, this and width is equal to 100%. Now it's going to cover the whole screen, and we can also create a background color here. We need some background color here. Color it's a 545454. Yep. Now background color is kind of like grays. Okay, so far so good. So we're gonna leave this up to here. Nope. We need a display flex. We need to make this as the middle of the screen. So we'll just put it as a flex with flex, justify content center. So now it come in the middle of the screen. Of course, we need to make this as a flex direction as a column. So we can see as a column matter. And we also need a self flex align item as a center. So we can see in the middle of the screen, which is here. Okay. So now the next what we have is we have a chart wrapper. So in a chart wrapper, what we're going to do, we're going to make some color here, background color as a white, so we can see that the weight is sitting on it. So make this as a white. Okay. So now we need to make it a little bigger. It's pretty small. So let me do as a width as a 50 VW, 60 or 50. Let's do a 50. Okay. So now let me do as a height, maybe the 500 pixel. Okay. Looks so good. Okay. Chart wrapper is oh, let me do as a here border. Um, let me do here as a box shadow as well. So if I remember correctly, if I do a 0 0 and 8 pixel minus 16 pixel and RGBA color and 0 0 69 and alpha no need. Okay, maybe we need to do here a 16 and here a 8. So if I say it, okay, we will see a nice box shadow here. You guys don't need to remember. You can find easily on Google. Okay. So now what we have is we have a chart wrapper. Perfectly fine. Chart wrapper is done. Maybe we need to come back. Not sure. We'll see later. But in the chart list now, this is going to be our UL, right? So the first thing we don't want the list style there. We don't want to say the dot there. So we're gonna make this a list style is null none and make this as a padding. Maybe let's give a padding as 10, little bigger, I guess, 15 pixel. Instead of giving the, let me check the chart wrapper. You know what, let me give the padding on chart wrapper so we will also see a padding on the bottom one. Yep, that's right. Let me do as a here. Okay, good. So this is how it looks like. Let me copy this one and put this multiple way here, and let me do as HR here as a horizontal line as well. So we will see what's cooking there. Okay, that's how it looks like now. So the first thing what we need to do is we need some padding. Definitely we need some padding on chart list item and ally. So on chart list item we need some padding here because too close, not looking good. Okay, looks good. Maybe give some more, doesn't matter. Yep. And here in HR, I'll directly write HR. I'll just change this border to 1 pixels. So late and this one. Okay, let me do here as a 1 pixel. Okay, looks so far. Now let me do as a input here. So this is the input action. We didn't create any button here, so button send btn. We can do a btn here because we're going to use the same button class. Now in the action, what we're going to do is this is going to be the display as a flex. Okay, display as a flex there, perfectly fine. So we will give some here the flex length here, here, and here. Okay, so how we're going to give it is basically maybe we can also give this as a another here called btn something btn collections. So here in the action, your class is action message. Let's give a class called action message, and here is let's give a class called action btns. Okay, so in the action message, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the flex here, give a length of 8, and the rest is that one action message and action btn. Okay, so for this one action message, which is basically nothing but the input, we need to make this as a height as a little bigger. Okay, maybe a little bigger than that. Okay, so now if I click it, then it will do as a bluish there, not the blue, the black color. So for that one, what do we need to put this as whenever it's focus, then we don't want any outline, none. Okay, and also one thing is we need to put this all the way on the down, and for that one we can give a height here as well. Or what we can do, the best is I believe we can do a flex here. Yep, we can do a display flex here. It's better. And display flex and flex direction column. And we can do a justify content between space between. So now it will go all the way down already. Okay. And on the chart list here, what we do is on override, overflow, Y, we're gonna make this as scroll. Okay. We already know as scroll here. So if I make this more li, then how it looks like, I'll show you guys. More your li, then we'll see up to like this. Okay, we already see the message here. So now let me quickly create a class for button to look a little better. So the for button one, how we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the btn. So all the way down here, we're gonna do a btn, and let me move this here so I can see this button. So btn, I'm gonna do a padding, maybe a 10 pixel, maybe give a little bigger. Yep, 13 pixel, and the color maybe a white. Okay, and the background color maybe let me go to the color palette here. If you guys didn't know what's a color palette, it's a collections of the color here, so we can pick any color so we can make our button a little better. So I'll copy this and I will go here and I will paste that color. Okay, so I don't have to remember this color. Okay, here it is. This is how it looks like. So now we need some margin here. Okay, looks good. Maybe too big margin here. Okay, not bad. Okay, good. So now what we do is on button, whenever it's hover, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this as a cursor, is a pointer. So we can see as a cursor as a pointer like this. And let me go to VS Code editor. And what we can do, and we can maybe we can also add the box shadow if we want. So on hover, so if I hover it, then it looks like this. Okay, so far let's do up to here. So now let me also need to create a model. So if you guys, okay, let me okay, I need to make this as a little bigger. So let me do as a little bigger here. What is the name of these it's 5? Oh, I don't have a class. Okay, so in a container at 5, let me make this as a font size a little bigger. It's too small. Okay, let me do it as a 25 and change the color as a tomato, I guess. Yep, and give some padding as a 10 pixel. Okay, good. And we need to make this little higher. The height is kind of small, so let me do it as a 700. Okay, looks good so far. This is how it looks like. So if I send it now, let me create a model for login quickly. So to create a model, we need to create the first thing is HTML here. So this is going to be our model. So model, in a model, what we have? We have the form, right? So we have a form control, maybe form class. In a form, we have our name. We need to put it. So just put the input here, and then after we have a button, and this is going to be save. That's all what we have. And now what we will see it here all the way down, which is okay. And now in the model here, what we do is we create a model here, and in the model now let me put this on position absolute. But first thing, let me go all the way on my container. I want to put this model inside my container. So I'll put inside my container, and my container, let me make it as a position relative. Okay, so once this position is relative, so now I can make this as a position absolute. Okay, okay, so it's on the middle already because my container already set up as a middle it, so it's going to show up in the model. It already show up in the middle. So now let me add some class on the model. So I'm going to move this little here and here so I can see it well. Okay, so let me add this same box shadow. Okay, so now let me do here the height of 200, maybe 300 pixel, and the width of 50 VH, I guess. Okay, 50 VH is too much, but it's fine. Okay, so far what we have is this, and now let me quickly create. I forgot to create a label here. Label is going to be basically a name. Okay, okay, the label is basically going to be my name, and this is how it looks like. So this is inside the form. So in a form, we're gonna create as a display as a flex box, and flex direction is going to be a column. Okay, good. And now this is a label. So let me give a class called a form label, and let me give a class for input called form input as well. And this is going to be other class called form button. Okay, btn. So in a form, we have a form label. So in a form label, what we have now is, let me do as a padding 10%, and I believe that's all, I guess. In a form, let me give as a padding here, so I don't need to give a padding anywhere else. And in a form input, I'll do the, especially I need to raise my height here, call height of 20 pixel. Let me do as a form input is a class. Yep, it is a class. Form into, let me make this, okay. Let me do as 20, okay. And the border is not so good for this, so maybe give some border, okay. And pretty much I believe that's it. I'm gonna make this a little bigger, and that's it, I guess. So now let's do for a button here. Button is basically needs some margin top, maybe 20 pixel, or maybe a 10, I guess. 20 is too big. Give a height of the 30 pixels, and background color, let me pick the same background color as a white, and this is going to be btn focus. Focus, and outline is none. And maybe the when btn is hover, then we're gonna do cursor is pointer. Okay, so far so good. Let me do as a modal height is 100%, then not 100%, down to as a height, so it will go up to here. Okay, this is how the model look like. Let me give some heading for the model as well. This is going to be a model header, or maybe the login, I guess. Okay, this is going to be my login. This is how it looks like. So here we will put the name, and we'll just save it, and we'll just send this message. Okay, our HTML is ready, most of it. I think it's ready. So now let's get started on the node, and let me put some JavaScript on here. Okay, so which is going to be a next video, guys. So that's all for this video, and thank you very much for watching. And I'm gonna put this code in a GitHub if you guys can download easily. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.